In August of 2020, I made a video reply to Sean, aka RGT85's claim that we were experiencing the bottom of Gamecube prices and suggested to his viewers to buy now or risk experiencing prices that were way too out of reach. Now, after a year, the question is not whether or not RGT85 is wrong, but just how wrong he is. Welcome to Retronomics, the series that points out just how wrong RGT85 really is. Nah, just kidding. RGT85 is good people, and this series actually follows price trends in video games. And if you're new here, this is a pretty consistent series where I take some games either from a system or a genre, and I review prices from the past year, and then make a prediction on whether or not the game prices will go up, down, or stay the same. So if that's something that you enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe for future content. We're going to get into a year's worth of Gamecube prices, 27 games in fact. But first, here's how Retronomics works. I get all of my price data from pricecharting.com, and I also take a look at eBay sold listings as well, and I make a determination on where the price of the game is going to go. All games are complete in box prices, and they are all North American versions. The prices are accurate as of the recording of this video, which is August 11th, 2021. There are other factors that I use as well, but because I'm a small channel and sometimes small channels get ripped off, those factors are private. I know it's kind of easy to dismiss somebody with only 5,100 subscribers, but you can go back through my Retronomics videos in the past year to verify my track record. You can also go a little bit further back if you promise to remember that 2020 was a real bonkers year for video game prices, so videos that are a couple years old may not be accurate anymore. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at Gamecube prices. Let's start with a couple of stats that have affected the full Gamecube library. 61 Gamecube items listed on pricecharting.com saw a price increase of 40% or more over last year. The biggest percentage change in price from last year was Zatch-Bell Mamoto Fury, which increased in value 65% from $30.28 last year to $87.50 this year as of the recording of this video. Last year, there were 28 items that were $100 or greater, and now there are 40 that are higher than $100 this year. The highest price game last year was Gotcha Force, which was $404.82, and now the highest price GameCube game is Cubivore at $546.25, which increased almost 40%, which is a price change of $213, which also happens to be the biggest dollar changed amount, followed by Ribbit King that increased in value $165.88. Gotcha Force only increased 16% or $77.73. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at individual Gamecube games, starting with Cubivore. And as I mentioned in my previous video, this game is one of the rarest Gamecube games that got a retail release, so you don't see a lot come up for sale, but the last 3 have been sold for less than $500, so it could be a sign that the game isn't as desirable as it once was. Still, 3 sales isn't really a solid indicator that we're going to see it drop any lower. All I'm saying is that if you are on a quest to get this game, set up some alerts to lock in a price that you want. Rally Championship has dropped about 3% since last August. In the previous video, I predicted that we might see this game drop to its pre-pandemic price by the end of the year, but it looks like the price has stalled. This game doesn't really sell all that often, even compared to Cubivore, and we're seeing some sales for less than $100, but then right after, a sale goes for double that. Looking at the lower price ones, they're not in the greatest cosmetic condition, so that could be a contributing factor for sure. Still worth keeping an eye out for a price that you're comfortable with. Sonic Adventure 2 saw an increase of 15% since last August, although nothing really has changed from the past video. The game looks to be leveling out for now, and like I mentioned in my last video, Sega doesn't seem to want to bring it out to modern platforms, so it is stuck on PC. Would be nice to see a remaster of some sorts that modernizes the gameplay and to play it in a high resolution along with that blistering frame rate. I would buy it now with no regrets for sure. Ikaruga is leveling out again, and it barely rose a full percentage point over the past year, and as I've mentioned in my previous videos, this game is on modern platforms and it's physically available for the Switch, so most people who wanted to play this game already have the means to do so, which means it's great for GameCube collectors because the game is relatively affordable and it's a great game to boot. But don't expect this game to get any cheaper. But I also don't foresee that this game is going to skyrocket in value anytime soon. Mario Kart Double Dash rose 5.5% since last year. The best Mario Kart doesn't seem to be dropping in value a lot, and if I had to lock in a prediction for the next couple of years, I would estimate that this game will remain in between $50 and $75. Assuming that Nintendo doesn't have any plans to make this physical on any other platforms. It still would be awesome to see a Mario Kart Ultimate with a Double Dash mode. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness rose 33.7% over last year, and it's creeping back up again, yet prices are still all over the place. There's a sale almost every day, and you're seeing one go for $250, followed by one for $150. Again, it's not a mainline Pokemon game, but when people get excited for Pokemon, you see all of the games see a bump in price. With sales like this, I don't think that we'll see one for less than $100 anytime soon, so it's probably safe to assume that this game now has a new baseline price set. Disney Sports Basketball rose 11.2% since last year, but no significant change in price since my last video. Like I mentioned before, this game is fairly rare and it doesn't come up very often. The last sold listing was back in May, so no new sales since my last video. So I would suggest setting up alerts for this game if you're interested, and don't sleep if a copy in a condition that you're looking for pops up, because it will be a while before you see it again. Beach Bikers spiked 43.2% since last year and is settling back down to around $20, with some sold listings a little higher and a little lower. This isn't necessarily a sought after game, so I don't think that we'll see a jump too high in value for the foreseeable future, so if you're looking for a volleyball game on the GameCube, I would snatch it up and not regret it. Geist rose 44.8% from last year, and it's a game that doesn't appear to be one of those that will be re-released anytime soon, so I believe that this will be the new price for this game going forward. It seems to have stabilized, with sold listings being pretty consistent for the past 2 months. If anything, it might spike up as time goes by. It's still a relatively unknown title that is published by Nintendo, and it's a GameCube exclusive, so it's probably a good time to pick it up now instead of waiting. Second Sight rose 38.2% compared to last year and is leveling off and might drop a little bit over the next couple of months, as it is available on the PlayStation 2. Sold listings suggest that it has a bit to drop, so maybe keep an eye on it, but I think that you can push the priority of getting this game back to behind other games on this list. It's not really something that is going to spike anytime soon. Ultimate Muscle only rose 2.8% from last year, and sold listings are again all over the place compared to other games on this list, mainly because some are missing the manuals. I made sure to report those to pricecharting.com, so I think that the price that's up here is going to be the norm going forward. So if you do see a price that you're comfortable with and it's the condition that you want, pick this game up as soon as possible. Paper Mario has dropped 15.2% since last year, and looking at the price from my last video, my analysis holds steady. Paper Mario keeps flirting with $100 but doesn't seem to drop below $90 consistently. And assuming that Nintendo has zero plans to bring these games to the Nintendo Switch and keep the current Paper Mario format, this will be the price going forward, and I would suggest buying it now because we're getting to the point where this game is closer to the original Paper Mario than it is to the new iteration. So buy it now before it spikes again. FZero GX rose 23.2% and is another game that will be flirting in between $70 and $80 for the foreseeable future. Just like Thousand Year Door, I don't expect a port or a new entry anytime soon, and given the popularity of this particular game and the appeal of GameCube collecting, I would suggest buying it now before the next spike in price, which will probably come around Christmas time, so you have about 4 months. Super Mario Sunshine is now at its lowest price since 2018, and it has lost over 50% of its value, the largest decrease in price of all of Price Charting's GameCube games. The game continues to drop after the successful launch and controller upgrade from Mario 3D All-Stars for the Nintendo Switch. Sure, you can't buy it right now, but that collection isn't particularly rare. The current price for the GameCube version is a really great deal if you still haven't pick this game up. Eternal Darkness has risen 18.3% since last August, and this game is one that's probably going to rise in value a little bit towards Halloween time, so I would probably pick this one up now rather than later. It's a little higher than what it was back last year, and since it is a Nintendo M-rated game exclusive to the GameCube with no immediate plans to port it to the Switch, it probably will hover around this price for the foreseeable future, with spikes in between like I mentioned. It's a really great game and it's very unique coming from Nintendo, so I would buy now. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes has risen 10.2% since last year, and it is starting to plateau. The rumors of a new Metal Gear Solid game might bring it back up in the near future, but for now, this version is a game that's worth getting at its current price, as I don't see it dropping too much more anytime soon. You got a couple of copies without manuals selling for lower than Price Charting has it listed for, which is to be expected, but full complete copies are also selling for just under $100, so I would say now is a good time to buy. Skies of Arcadia rose 9.6% over the last year and is cooling off, and sold listings indicate that it has a little bit more to drop. Will it drop below $100 anytime soon? Probably not, but it might get close. Keep an eye on this game because I do have a feeling that if you're lucky, you can pick up a fully complete copy for a very reasonable price, since it probably won't flirt with the pre-pandemic price for a very long time. Super Smash Bros. Melee dropped 4% from last year, and it's probably going to remain around this current price for the foreseeable future. There's no real indication that prices are going to drop, and Melee will maintain a loyal audience, and it's obviously a mainstay on the GameCube. Assuming that you didn't pick this game up when you first started GameCube collecting, picking it up now would probably be a good idea. Or you could wait. I mean, the price doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. Chibi-Robo rose 18.8% from last year and is probably going to remain around $200 for the foreseeable future. It's an uncommon GameCube exclusive game that's loved by Scott the Woz. That alone will help it maintain its value. Also, Nintendo doesn't really seem to want to resell as GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch, so if you are a completionist, you could buy now without the worry that the value will plunge anytime soon. Luigis Mansion has dropped 8 8.5% compared to last year, and it's almost back to its pre-pandemic price. As I said previously, it's available for the 3DS, so that should keep it in check. It's also a launch game for the GameCube that also has a greatest hits version, so it is probably a safe bet to assume that we won't see a huge jump in price anytime soon. And speaking of the greatest hits version, that one rose 11.5%, and it's actually going for more than what the Black Label is now. I mean, collectors are weird. Twilight Princess has risen 32.7% over the last year, and it's finally leveling out. It's still way higher than what it should be, but considering that there was no Zelda collection like a lot of people were saying was a deadlock, it will probably maintain its value. Of course, Skyward Sword HD was coming out around the same time, and since that is the black sheep of the 3D Zelda family, it made a lot of sense that Nintendo didn't want a collection to steal its thunder. Personally, I would wait to buy this, but hey, if you have to buy this game and you have the money to burn, buying it now wouldn't be that big of a risk. Def Jam Fight for New York has risen only 3.2% and has had a sharp decline since April, and it's starting to level out and will probably settle on this price going forward. I've mentioned in previous videos that video games like this that have been underrated for a while and pop off in value only come down just above where it was before it really popped off, so I don't expect to see a lot of copies sell for less than $100. The good news is that this game isn't a GameCube exclusive, so the price shouldn't get too out of control for now. Alien Hominid rose 24.8% since last year, and now it has peaked in May and the price is leveling off. This is another game that I think that will keep its value for the foreseeable future. It does have a remaster coming out, but time will tell if there's a physical version that could contribute to the price drop. You also have the PlayStation 2 version that is significantly more affordable. Gauntlet Dark Legacy rose 21.2% since last year, and I think it will probably rise a little bit over the next couple of months, but I do think that it's safe to say that the price has peaked in April and the current price of this game will be the new baseline. As I mentioned in my previous video, there are differences between this and the PlayStation 2 version, so unlike Alien Hominid and Def Jam, this one might see spikes as time goes on, so I'd probably buy this one now to get it out of the way. Gogo Hyper Grind is an Atlas published game from the early 2000s, so you know what that means, the price is going to be pretty ridiculous. Gogo Hyper Grind rose 17.7% over the past year, and I would expect this game to remain around its current price for the foreseeable future. Atlas doesn't really reprint their back catalog, and like I mentioned in my PlayStation 1 Retronomics video, they were in low print runs to begin with. Metal Arm's glitch in the system rose 16.5% since last year, but has had no significant spikes since my last GameCube Retronomics episode, so I don't think that we're going to see too much of a change going forward. The game price sold listings seem to be swinging back and forth, with a copy selling for $17, then another one going for $40. There are still copies available in between that price, so if you don't mind cleaning up a case, you can get one at a decent price and add it to your collection. So there you go, 27 GameCube prices forecasted for the month of August 2021. And I think that this will be probably the last GameCube episode that I do bi-monthly. I think I'll actually make it maybe quarterly or something like that, because unless something happens like an extra stimulus check in the next few months, it is safe to say that overall GameCube prices have settled into their new levels. As far as future Retronomic episodes go, you can still expect specific systems, but there will be more game-specific Retronomic episodes, and it's mainly because I want to do shorter ones so that I can put them out a little bit more frequently. So let me know if you have any ideas for future episodes. After all, I make these videos so you can watch them. If you like this video, give it a like and share it with those who might find it interesting. It is the best way to support the channel, and it's free to do so. Subscribe if you're new here and turn on notifications so you'll never miss an episode. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at snicktendo. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Super Nicktendo, and I'll see you next time.